Hi everyone, welcome to Free Code Tutor again. In this video, we are going to discuss about React portals. So what are portals? So portals in the documentation, it says that portal provides a first class way to render children into DOM node that exists outside the DOM hierarchy of the parent component. I will show you one example, or I'll show you my React application which is running right now. So in this application, if I inspect the element, you will find that in this DOM node, the main root element is the div element, and inside this div element we are appending this app component and the child components inside these app components. But for portal, the portal root element should be outside of this root element but can be accessed from the child element. So what is the need for this kind of strategy or this kind of DOM structure? The need is because there are sometimes in our development we may need some models or pop-up kind of stuff which should have the whole screen width and height, and if there is any child element which property is overflow hidden, so in that case that the models whole width and height should not be visible from that child element. Alright, so let's go back to code and let's try out creating one portals so that you will understand it in more clearly. Alright, so let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. In this Visual Studio Code, in this React application, as you are seeing, there is one app component, and inside this app component there is another child component which is class grid, and this is being rendered in our browser, and this is being rendered from this index.js file which is in the source folder. So it is taking React DOM render method, and in this React DOM render method it is taking this app component, and also it's taking that document.getElementById from the index.html. If I move up and open up this public folder and this index.html, we are seeing that root div element which is id is root. So similarly we are going to have another div element right after here, and that element should be for portals. So I'll create one element over here, so div and id equals to portal. You can choose whatever id you prefer for your project, but for this moment I am taking the id as portal, and in this portal we are going to render our model. Now let's go back to our source folder, and here I'll create another folder and I'll name it as portal. You can create folder anywhere. At the end you need to call that class name in your component. So but right now I have created this different folder for portals, and inside this portal folder I'm going to create one file and I'll name it as model.js. Now inside model.js I'm going to import React from React, and then I'm going to import React DOM from React DOM, and after that I also need to have that element in which I'm going to provide this model, and that element in document in DOM is this portal element, I mean the div element with id portal. So I'll copy this portal, and over here I'm going to take a variable. So constant portal equals to document dot get element by id and then portal. Now I'll create a class, name it as modal, and I'll as it is a class component, so I'll extend the React component. So extend react.component, and I'll export this class by export default modal. And inside this class component I'm going to have a constructor like this, and I'll take some props over here, and in the super method I also have the props. Alright, so as you can see, this is being strike through as the super method has been deprecated. We'll understand this later, but for the time being I'll keep in this way. And outside this constructor I'm going to render this portal. For rendering I'm going to have a render method called, and inside render I'm going to return react DOM dot create portal. Alright, so inside create portals we need two parameters right now. So first parameter is the children or props which is coming from the props, and the second parameter is the element which element is going to be append inside this portal element. So for that I'm going to write over here this dot props dot children, which is nothing but some valid React JSX strings array etc. So I'll type in comment any valid React child which can be JSX array strings etc. And then in my second argument I will pass a new created div element which is going to be append inside this portal div element. So document dot create element, and here I am going to create div like this. So instead of creating the div element over here, I'll take this line out from here, and I'll create over here with this dot lm equals to document dot create element div, and for understanding I'll pass a class name. So this dot lm dot set attribute class, and then I'll pass a name which is test. So to identify this div I am providing this class name, or you can provide class name with some styles or something else, but for now I am providing only a class name which is test. Now this dot lm is going to be pasted over here. So now I am providing the JSX which is I am going to receive as a prop, and also providing an element in which this props or the children is going to be appended, and this element is going to be appended in the portal div element. Now we need to provide two more method over here, that is when we are rendering this model, we are going to create this we are going to append this div in that portal div element, and whenever this render method is not there, whenever we are unmounting, we need to remove that child element also. So for that I am going to type component did mount, and inside component did mount I'm going to append this element. So portal dot append child, and this is going to be this dot element. Similarly, for the unmounting process, component will unmount. In this method I'm going to remove that child element, so it should be remove child and this dot element. And these methods are basic JavaScript methods. There is nothing to do with React. So if you don't have any knowledge in basic JavaScript, I'll suggest to have some knowledge in basic JavaScripts, or so that it will be easier. But these methods like create elements, set attributes, append child, remove child, these are basic JavaScript methods. Now I'll save it. Now I'm done with this portal class. Okay, this is misspelled, so I need to correct this spelling. So PRO props. Alright. Now in this portal folder again I'm going to create another component. So I'll name it as my modal.js, and this is again going to be a class component. So I'm going to copy all the stuff over from this modal and paste over here. I don't need this React DOM, and also I don't need this one, and in the constructor I don't need this these two lines over here. And then I also don't need this did mount or will unmount. And this return, I need a simple return over here, so this will be like this, and I am going to return a div element over here. Alright, I should change the name, so this should be my modal. Alright, now here I am going to input that modal which I have created from this portal. So input that modal which we have created. So modal from modal. And now inside render I am going to have this modal to be rendered, but before it I am going to provide some attributes or properties to this div element which we are returning inside this render. So for that I am going to type a style, and inside style I am going to provide some width which is like 200 pixel, and same for the height also, 200 pixel height. Change this to height, and after that I'm going to provide a background color for that. So background color is going to be any color, like I'm going to provide a RGB a color, where I'm providing some random values like 210, 81, then maybe 23, and then in alpha, so for that moment providing 0.8 alpha, and also the main attribute which is overflow. Hidden, like this, and here I'm going to provide that modal, but like this, in this way. So modal, but for the time being I'm going to take this modal as in constant variable, and that need to be that should have some styles attribute. So I'll remove this modal from here, and instead here I'm going to take a constant over here and name it modal equals to, I'm going to render this modal with modal like this. But what I'm going to do inside this modal, I'm going to provide some elements like div elements, and in this div I'm going to provide that style which will cover the whole width and height of the screen. So I'll copy these lines, pretty much same over there. Some properties are different. So width is going to be 100 VW and height is also going to be 100 VH. That will provide me the 100% width and height. And background color, in this case I'm going to take some black color with alpha value. So alpha is going to be 2, and I don't need this overflow hidden over here, but what I need is the position is going to be fixed, and top is 0 and left is also 0. Inside this div I'm going to have another div element, and the style is going to be pretty much same. So this is going to be the background, so that it is taking the whole screen width and height with some black but alpha value color. Now this is going to be the main div where we are going to have some data or some text. So for that I do need this 100 VW width. So instead of that I will take 300 pixel width, and height is also 300 pixel. And then background color is going to be white, so I don't need this. I'm going to provide simple triple F. Position is going to be absolute for this moment, and then top left is 0, right is also be 0, and then bottom is also 0. And then I'm going to provide a margin value which is going to be auto, and this 4 values like top, left, right, bottom and margin auto will make this div totally centered from top and from the left. And inside this div I'm going to have a button with some text. So first of all I'm going to provide a text over here. This is a demo portal / modal, and after this text I'm going to have a button which will close this portal, right? So I'm going to provide one click, and then I'll provide a class then I'll provide a method or function. So that is this dot close modal, and here I'm going to type simply close modal. Alright, and here in this main div element I'm going to have another button which is basically to open that modal. So on click, this dot open modal, and here I'll have simply open modal like this. And now to render this modal I'll call this modal over here inside this div element which is having 200 pixel width and height and also overflow hidden. So I'll call this modal over here. But now I'm going to create this model with conditional statement so that so that we can open and close this model. For that statement I need a state over here, and the state is going to be this dot state equals to, I'm going to provide a boolean, so is model, which is initially is going to be false, like this. And I need to have this function declared over here. So first I'll open model. So open model method is going to be a function where I'm going to change the state. So this dot set state is model, which value should be true. Similarly, I'm going to copy this part of code, and instead of open model it should be close model. Sorry for that. And is model is going to be false. And finally we need to bind these handles over here. So that is going to be this dot open model equals to this dot open model dot bind to this. And similarly for this close model also, copy, paste and paste. Alright, so we are done, but we need to provide the condition over here. So I'm going to take a ternary operator, and this operator will be like if this dot state dot is model, then we'll have this model, otherwise we'll have a null object in return. Like this. So we are done with this my model component and also this model.js. Now the last part is we need to call this my model in our app.js file. So instead of calling class grid, I'll call my model, which is import my model from portals and then my model. Alright, now instead of class grid I'll simply copy paste over here, and as there is no props, so I'll remove that. Now let's go back to our browser. Now as you can see that we are having one box over here, which is the width is like 200 pixel, height is also 200 pixel, and the properties is also overflow hidden. So I'll do something that I'll show what happens if the property is overflow hidden. I'll edit this from edit as HTML, and right after this button I'm going to have a paragraph text, and what I'm going to write is testing overflow, and I'm going to copy this paragraph some multiple times. Now if I go back, as you can see, these other lines of paragraphs are not visible as the overflow is hidden. Now if I change the value of overflow hidden, you can see there are some other lines are visible right now. Okay, so let it be overflow hidden, and I'm going to refresh this page. I don't need this testing overflow. And if I open this model, as you can see, this model is being opened from this child component, and it is taking the whole width and height of the screen, and also the div which is being rendered in the middle but not inside here. So this overflow hidden is not working for this, because these elements are coming from a different root folder. So if I open the element, inspect element again, you will see that this is the main root where we're having the class this my model component, and this is the portal root where we're having this portal elements. Now if I open this, you can see the class test, the div which we have created inside that portal component is being appended over here portal div element, and inside this test folder, this test div, we are having the child props which is coming from the my model component. So these are all the JSX coming from the child my model components. Now if I close this model and go back to that inspect element, you can see this portal div element has no child elements inside this portal, so everything being removed as we have created this component will unmount method. I'll show you in the code. So as you have created this call this component will unmount, and that will remove this child element. So this is working, and this is also working. Whenever we are opening the model, this element is being appended over there, and the JSX is coming from this part. Whatever we are providing, this JSX is coming from this my model component. Alright, so alright guys, so this is the simple example of creating portals or models. So I hope you have understood how to create a portal in our React application. We'll see in the next video with higher order components. Thank you for watching this video.